Autoline Live from the North American International Auto Show is brought to you by our signature sponsors. Chrysler, the Chrysler 300S, imported from Detroit. Dodge. Fiat, the next wave of Italians has arrived. Jeep, for more information on the full lineup, visit jeep.com. Ram, visit ramtrucks.com. And also by Audi, Truth in Engineering. Bridgestone, your journey, our passion. IAC, Inside Solutions from IAC. ITC Holdings Corporation. Visit us at www.itctransco.com. ITC is your energy superhighway. And now, from the floor of the North American International Auto Show in Detroit, here's your host, John McElroy.
Welcome to this live webcast of the 2013 North American International Auto Show in Detroit. We've got a terrific show coming. Listen to some of the guests that we've got coming up on today's program. Mike Manley, the CEO of Jeep. Tad Juchter, the chief engineer of Corvette. Gordon Wagner, the head of design for Mercedes. Anthony Falk, who's in charge of so many of the models at Audi, including the RS ones. We'll be talking about their latest one. Paul Ferrolo from BMW. Johan de Nijssen, the head of Infiniti. Peter Schreyer, the newly appointed president of Hyundai Kia, in charge of design for both brands. Olivier Francois, the head of all marketing for Chrysler. Phil Popham, the global sales director for Jaguar, and a few other people in there as well. It's going to be awesome, and we're going to get going right after this.
The next wave of Italians has come to America, and they've come to party. The Italian-designed Fiat 500.
ITC operates, builds, and maintains the electric transmission infrastructure. We are working hard to improve electric reliability and increase electric transmission capacity throughout our operations across the Midwest. ITC, we're your energy superhighway.
And here we are at the Jeep display, and joining me is Mike Manley, the CEO of the Jeep brand globally. And Mike, great having you here at another auto show.
It is, John, and it's great to be on the show as well. Thank you.
A lot of good buzz going on at this show, too. It looks like the industry really is back, and you guys just came off a pretty strong year.
We did. 2012, from a product point of view, was a little bit quiet, but from a sales point of view, we made some news. We broke our all-time sales record, which was previously set way back in 1999. So a lot of momentum coming into 13, and as you said, some great buzz at the show this year.
And you do have some new product. You've refreshed the Jeep Grand Cherokee. Tell me why you've refreshed it so soon in its cycle and what you've done with it as well.
No, you're right. It is pretty soon, just 2.5 years after we launched it. But this is an approach that we really took since our restructure to manage our product, the life cycle of the product, much more aggressively. And Grand Cherokee's done very, very well in the marketplace, but we wanted to continue to make sure it was fresh, and we wanted to continue to make sure we pushed the icon, the premium icon of the brand, into the right direction in the marketplace. So a lot of good changes on Grand Cherokee.
You've changed the grille, the front fascia, tail lights, and also some things on the interior, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We've refreshed the outside, we've updated the lighting, bought a lot more high-tech lighting, and we made some good changes on the tailgate just to make that look a little bit more premium, bring the LED technology that we wanted to with Grand Cherokee, did the interiors, but a big change as well is the technology we've deployed, and that's in two key areas. We took the opportunity to put the 8-speed transmission, which in its class is a phenomenal transmission. And when you marry it up not just to our V6 and our V8, but also new this year's diesel for the US market, which had a lot of attention. And then we upgraded the electrical architecture so we could protect it for the future, bring new services on board. So now over 60 safety and security features facilitated by that architecture. So massive changes, just 2.5 years in the market.
Let's walk to the other end of the stage where you've got the Jeep Compass. But as we walk down there, talk a little bit about this refresh? As you said, 2.5 years into the cycle. Normally an automaker would wait something like 4 years to do that.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally in the past we've waited for 4 years, maybe even longer, and what we've seen when we do that is the only way to sustain sales then is through price. And, you know, for the Jeep brand and where it's been going in recent years, it's much better for us, I think, to make sure the vehicle stays fresh, current and competitive in the marketplace. So product lifecycle management has become even more important. It's embedded in our strategy, and it's not just Grand Cherokee. As you said, I announced 2 vehicles today, and of course Compass being the other vehicle. Now, we only refreshed this 2 years ago as well, so I think it really illustrates that this strategy applies across the range.
I love what you've done with the front end on the Compass as well.
You know, since we did that 2 years ago, Compass and Patriot sales have doubled, and it just shows you if you make the right intervention that it can have big payoff in the marketplace. What we've done this year is to make some more lighting changes on Compass just to keep that fresh, but again we've put a new transmission into this vehicle to improve its fuel economy and its overall driving dynamics, and then we tailored that with some new interior work. So again, very fresh 2 years into the marketplace, but really targeted at the messages we had from our customers. You know, I want a better transmission, I want more fuel economy, I'd like a few more soft touch materials.
And you've gone from what, the CVT to a 6-speed or automatic?
Yeah, six speed, fully electronic automatic, so that does replace the CVT. You know, that means that a couple of things, riding, handling, and, you know, the overall driving dynamics improved, but it also helps reduce the interior noise while you're driving. And to complement that, we've put an acoustic laminated windshield on the front, so not only is it that it drives better, you're going to get a much better feel inside because the noise levels have been reduced by those 2 interventions.
Michael, as you mentioned earlier, you had a record year, you're looking for even more, and of course you're going into China. Have you picked who your partner there is yet, and what do you plan to do in terms of selling vehicles there?
Well, as you know, Jeep's been in China for a long time, but because we're only import, we've been limited in volume. The great thing about the alliance is it's opened up new opportunities for us, and Fiat have a strong joint venture partner in Guangzhou Automotive, and I've been talking to them over recent months, and I have to say those discussions have gone incredibly well. They're very excited about the Jeep brand, and those discussions will continue to progress, but very, very close to some big news for Jeep in China, and we haven't built vehicles in China for many, many years, so for me that would be a good opportunity to expand our volume again.
I would agree, and I got to see somewhere down the road Jeep breaking 1 million units for a year at some point.
You know, that would be a wonderful target. World record last year at 700,001. On record to hit 800,000 in 2014. Like to beat that, and of course we can open up new markets. The million's got to be around the corner.
That's how I see it. But Mike Manley, thanks so much for your time today. Real pleasure running into you again.
Yeah, good to see you again, John. Thank you.
Okay, take care. Okay, people, come on. Now we've got to go take a look at the Corvette. And, hey, we've got Michelle Krebs here. Michelle, how you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
Yeah. And Michelle, of course, is with Edmunds.com, and you're what? An analyst there?
Yes, senior analyst, editor at large.
Okay, well, walk with me to Corvette. Come on.
I haven't even seen it yet.
You haven't?
No, it's been too crowded. I have not had a chance to look at it, so I'm going to be thrilled to see it. It's certainly the buzz of the show.
I was at the reveal last night, and I only saw little pieces of it because there were so many people all around it.
I know, and there's been tons of people throughout, and so I'd like a good look at it.
What else at the show, or anything about the show that you'd comment on at this point?
Well, I think I haven't seen a lot of the vehicles, but what I would say is the mood is far different than it was 4 years ago, and that is delightful. I was the moderator on a panel discussion last night for the Society of Automotive Analysts, and we did the economic outlook, and as I said to the panelists of their slides, I love seeing those bar graphs go like this and the line graphs go like this, because it's a lot more fun to be in this industry when we're on an upswing.
That's right, and you know, even though it's way better than it was 4 years ago, last year was good, but this year's even better still. I'm just talking about the sense I get from the show, the buzz of the people here.
Well, right, and you know, sales are better. We're expecting them to be better next year, and even after that. You know, there's a few challenges going forward, but you know, and the other thing is the U.S. is the bright spot. Who would have thought that a few years ago?
Who would have thought from Great Recession to almost growing faster than just about any market in the world now.
Exactly. And the other thing that's kind of interesting, we were at the North American Car Truck of the Year award this morning. The two vehicles that won, the Ram 1500 and the Cadillac ATS, from the two companies that were in bankruptcy. I just think that's a huge step in terms of their journey of putting that behind them.
You know, I never thought of it that way, that it really is an indication that they're back on their feet from being in bankruptcy 4 years ago to Car and Truck of the Year right now.
Right, and producing products that are benchmark in the industry. And the other thing I think from a Michigan standpoint is both of those vehicles are made in Michigan, and that's been great for our economy and jobs. So,
really is. Okay, what else at the show? Anything else catch your eye that you care to comment on?
Well, I'm getting a lot of, I have not seen the Cadillac ELR, but I'm getting a lot of comments about that, a lot of questioning about what is GM doing there with using the Bolt technology on a Cadillac. Should they have done that first? So I'm anxious to check that out. I think the Lincoln is interesting, the MKC concept. I think Lincoln's got a tough road ahead of it. I thought that vehicle was interesting, though, and so we'll see how that does. And I haven't gotten around to all the imports yet, but
yeah. Well, there's an awful lot to see at the show here, and I agree. And I've only seen a mere fraction of it. In fact, the stuff I'm most familiar with is what was released before the show.
Well, exactly. And, you know, I always have to wait until after all the buzz is over and the crowds have gone to really get a look at the vehicle. So I'll probably do that tomorrow afternoon.
Real good. Michelle, thanks so much for your time. Really good talking with you as always.
Good to talk to you. Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye now. Okay, and now we have to find Tad's Jector. And which way do we go? There's still a lot of people here at Corvette. Come on, let's go this way. My guess is he's up on the stage here someplace. Oh, yeah. Watch your step here. This could be dangerous, walking from the riser onto the stage. And even though the Corvette reveal was quite some time ago, there's still an awful lot of people here taking it all in. And I got to let my camera people know, too. Watch it. There's a big drop-off here, too. That's one of the perils of going around an auto show is all the steps and gaps and with the risers and the stages. Okay, and here we go. It's Tad Jector. Tad, great to see you.
Great to see you. Thanks.
So, now I got to get the title right. I want to say chief engineer, but there's an extra adjective in there.
I just use chief engineer, but my official title is executive chief engineer.
Well, you got to be over the moon, man. I mean, last night you unveiled the Corvette. They tell me there were 2,000 people there and like 150, 60, 65,000 watching online.
Wow, and we had a bunch of customers there, and their reaction was spectacular. Sometimes they're our toughest critics, but they seemed very impressed with the new car and very excited for us that we're able to do a new one at this time.
What was the biggest challenge in setting out to do this car? Number one, I guess, is don't screw it up. But beyond that, what is to do that you would say was the number one priority?
Well, people ask me that, and they ask me the biggest challenge, but the truth is the current car that we sell does so many things so well. It's a great daily driver, it gets good fuel economy, it's comfortable to ride in, has great luggage room so you can take it on long-distance trips, it's a cross-country touring machine. It's also great on the track, it's robust, you don't void your warranty just because you take it out. So it has this great bandwidth of all these things it does. So doing a new car, we couldn't sacrifice any of that. We had to make all of that better. And that's a pretty big challenge. But using technology, and that's our basic job, is what kind of technology makes the basic driving experience better? We're not into every bell and whistle. We always use a measure of what makes the basic driving experience better, and those are the technologies we choose to put in the Corvette Stingray.
And of course, that starts out with the bones of the skeleton of the car, the chassis. And I was looking, you've got a display here of it, and some really interesting aluminum castings in the frame rails and things like that that I've never seen anyone do before.
Yeah, there's technologies that exist now that didn't exist the last time we did an aluminum frame for our Z06 and ZR1 models. Also, since we're making it standard, we're going to build it in Bowling Green using the latest manufacturing techniques, laser welding, flow drilled screws, all sorts of technology that's relatively new. We're kind of taking the best of what Audi has developed in aluminum, our own learnings in aluminum, put them together to build a frame that's quite astonishing in that it's It's almost, it actually is 100 pounds lighter than the frame on the standard Corvette today, and it's 60% stiffer, which is actually the bigger story because it changes the way the car drives, the way it rides and handles very dramatically. It feels extremely confident on the road. It's very comfortable, very stable. Feels like things machined out of just a giant block of billet.
You know, and that's not easy to do, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know, of taking weight out and making it substantially stiffer at the same time.
Yes, and that's always a challenge. Just like on a race car, you want it lighter, you want it stiffer, handles better, rides better, makes the chassis do the work it needs to do. And in addition to the aluminum frame, we've got lots of new exotic carbon reinforced, what people think of as fiberglass, but actually has carbon in it. And then we have 2 Class A carbon panels, the hood and the roof, on the standard Corvette that are now 100% carbon fiber.
And you mentioned, too, last night in the presentation that instead of ducting the engine compartment heat under the car, it goes out over the hood. Explain that.
Well, that's a racing strategy. You'll see it on almost every race car where you take air in through the front and then you exhaust it out an opening in the hood. You want the air to go up over the air rather than kind of piling up underneath and creating lift. So all the air that you can run over the top helps plant the car to the ground. So we actually split the flow and have some go over the top and some go underneath to keep the engine cool. But it's basically a lesson from racing applied straight to a street car. You see it on virtually every race car. You see it on virtually no production cars.
And what's the advantage of taking the heat over the top rather than through the bottom?
It's lift reduction is the main thing. You want to keep that front end, the nose of the car, pinned to the ground. So the faster you go, the harder it presses into the ground and the more confident the driver feels.
Okay, let's look at some of the other aero. You've got some very interesting vents on the rear fenders of the car, and then it almost looks like that might vent out by the taillights. Am I reading that right or no?
You're reading it exactly right. It's another technique taken straight from our C6R race car. They cool the transmission and the differential, which is very unusually situated in the back of the car. On today's Corvette, we plumb coolant all the way the length of the car to cool off those components. Instead, we've adopted a race strategy, cooling them locally, taking cool air into the quarter panel, and as you observed, exiting the hot air after it heats up, going through the heat exchanger in a little vent kind of hidden around the taillights, and then another one in the lower fascia.
Oh, very interesting. So the air that's venting out by the taillights, does that help create more of a comeback effect for better aero, less drag on the car?
Well, the back end of the car, as you know, is a very low pressure area. High pressure on the front, low pressure on the rear. That low pressure trying to suck the car backwards, that's drag. And so anything you can do to fill in that vacuum, that reduces drag. That's why they do it on the race car. That's why we're doing it on the street car.
What's been the most fun part of developing this car for you? I mean, I know that's kind of an inane question, but there's got to be something where you went home one night and just went, God, this is so good.
First drive. You know, you work on paper for several years, putting together the specs, trying to get the best hardware you can. Then you build your prototypes and you start tuning those. But it's that first time you actually get out on the open road, get to experience the car the way the customer's going to experience it, and feeling like the precision of the steering. That was the thing that woke me up the most. The structure 60% stiffer, but the steering system as a system is 500% stiffer, and that you feel from the moment you drive off, and it really elevates the car to a new level.
Taj, I could talk to you about this all day long, and maybe I'm going to have to do that yet too. Yeah, thanks for your time today. Really good.
Thank you very much.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to be coming back, let's see, to see what's new in German luxury.
For some, it's the freedom. For others, the independence. No matter what drives you to get out there, leave no stone unturned. You have the power. And where you'll find it is within.
We are IAC Group, a global Tier 1 supplier of vehicle interior solutions that span the rapid, ever-changing needs of today's industry. From interior design and engineering to manufacturing and delivery, IAC, our heritage, your advantage.
See?
That was fast.
We're out of here.
In this segment of the show, we're going to be talking all about German luxury cars. And to kick it all off, I've got Dr. Gordon Wagner, the head of design for Mercedes here joining me. And first off, thank you so much for doing this with us today.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing terrifically well. Dr. Gordon, it's been real interesting to me to see how Mercedes-Benz design is evolving. And yet, it still looks like a Mercedes-Benz. The cars look so much more modern, and yet to anybody on the street, anybody, they'd instantly recognize it as a Mercedes, even if you did not have the three-pointed star. Where do you take the design from here? Because we know that aerodynamics and other things like that are going to play a bigger role. Pedestrian safety, all affecting design. How do you deal with all that?
Well, first of all, design is what counts, because we are staging that great luxury brand Mercedes-Benz, and here with our new E-Class you can see what that means. You know, we are really bringing that car into the next generation of luxury. You know, we make stunning cars which are simply emotional, but very modern and contemporary on the other hand. You know, and for instance, if you take out that headlight, you know, we are coming from a four-eyes face, and now you see the four eyes under the glass with light beam technology. So with technology, we bring that onto the new level.
So those are light beams and not LED lights, or do I have that?
LED light beam, actually, to be precise. But also you see the indicator, which is kind of the jewelry there. You know, you see these little crystals. It's really like a diamond ring, you know, and that's the jewelry of the car, you know, and this is LEDs, yeah.
And explain some of the things, the inserts. If I look at the E400 hybrid, for example, you've got some things going with the grille work that's different than some of the other cars.
Yeah, that is the main invention here, that we are presenting our E-Class sedan with two faces, the traditional limousine grille as you know it, you know, but now with the avant-garde grille, how we call it, the SL grille. So basically we put a sports car grille onto that sedan and so move it very much into that sporty direction.
You're showing the E-Class here on the floor, but last night, before the show even started officially, you unveiled the Mercedes CLA. First question is, why unveil a car to the media and not have it on the floor of the show?
Well, we wanted to have full attention here, but we have so many new cars, you know, that we had to split it up, you know. So last night was for the CLA and today is for the E-Class. But I think the CLA is such a stunning car. You see the photos on the internet, you know. I think it's a true design icon. We bring back this idea of the CLS, you know, the four-door coupe, and bring it down to that segment in order to create the most sportiest, most progressive luxury sedan in that class. And I think the car will be really, really successful in this in the US, and it actually will help to reinvent the brand image of Mercedes, you know, towards more of a even progressive company, you know, attract new customers here, and so this car plays a really important role here.
Is the feeling that maybe Mercedes is being viewed as a car for older people, or why are you talking about the need to bring in new and younger blood?
Well, obviously we want to create, attract new customers, you know, in order to sell more cars, first of all, you know. Of course, we want to keep our valued customer in our core segments, what we have. But with the CLA, we are creating a new segment, you know, here, and we'll get, attract more customers from the competition, you know, and that's why this car is targeted being more sporty, more avant-garde, more progressive, you know. So many of the customers from other premium brands, you know, will move on to that sporty alternative to a C-Class, you know. And so basically what we do is broaden our portfolio and reinventing the brand in these new segments. Of course, we will keep what we have in the S-Class, and you will see the new S-Class actually this year, and it will also redefine luxury in that class. You know, the S-Class is it embodies luxury in that class. You know, it stays on its own.
It very much does. With the CLA, if I read right, you're claiming a coefficient of drag of 0.22 on that vehicle. That's very difficult to do on a shorter vehicle. Can you give us any of the tricks that you used?
Well, that is correct. The car is world leader in aerodynamics with our 0.22, you know. And the good thing is it does not harm the design, you know. The car still looks terrific, and it's just a few things you have to respect. It's sharp edges on the rear. Basically, we have little spoilers in the rear light where you don't see it, you know. You will have some things on the A-post, and so it's a tricky field to do. But I think what's most important that the whole language, the car looks like it's going through the wind very smoothly, and in fact, it does.
Well, I'm sure the public is missing out on a great-looking design, but I'm sure we'll catch that at another auto show.
Yeah, I would be very happy to show you that, yeah.
Dr. Wagner, thanks so much for your time. We have to move on to the next one.
It was a great pleasure. Have a great show.
I'll do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, come on, people. We've got to walk next door here to Audi. And maybe, Carmen, you can show some of the details on these cars as we walk past them, too. Yeah. We're going to be looking for Anthony Folk right now from Audi, and then coming up later after that, we've got Paul Ferrello from Audi, or from BMW, excuse me. So here he is right now, as a matter of fact. Anthony, so good to see you at yet another auto show.
Yes. Hey, welcome to Detroit.
Well,
welcome to the Audi stand.
Thank you for having us here. And what's the big news for you guys here? And I'm still catching up on some of the news, so excuse me for asking what you've got here.
So over on our stand over here, you guys can check it out later, but we introduced, it was a world debut of our RS7 high-performance A7 version with 560 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. So 3.7 to 60, it's really a flying car. So RS7, and also we brought the S version of our Q5. So our first performance SUV coming in the SQ5 with 354 horsepower. So a very quick, fun SUV that handles like a sports car, but you get all the utility and practicality of an SUV. So performance here at the Detroit show is really what we're talking about.
That's interesting because, you know, just a little while ago everybody was talking about having to be as green as possible, but we haven't forgotten performance, have we?
Well, we do both. So you definitely can have, in Los Angeles we were talking about the diesels that we have coming later this year. You know, we have the all-new V6 TDI clean diesel engine that we're bringing to the A6, the A7, A8, and Q5 also. But also we have an all-new generation of our V8 gasoline engine, the 4.0T that we've put in the S6 that we're standing next to here, S7, and then S8, and also the RS7. And that has efficiency technologies built into it also, like cylinder on demand, where it goes from a V8 to a V4 without anyone noticing, and you save about 12% fuel economy on the highway just with that one system. So you can have performance and be a bit green.
That's really impressive. I love how the industry is able to do that, give us more power all the time and yet reduce emissions and reduce fuel consumption.
Well, and downsizing is part of that. You know, engine downsizing, going from V10s to V8 turbos, or V8s to V6 supercharged or turbo. So, we've had a 4-cylinder turbo in the A4 that's direct injected for years. I mean, we were one of the first to bring the downsizing strategy to the luxury market, at least. So efficiency's always been something that Audi has really been emphasizing. And even especially like we found out in LA, the diesel in the A8 gets 36 miles a gallon on the highway. So you can still have a great, powerful luxury car that also gets great efficiency.
Anything else you want to point out here, or should we walk over to see what's on display, maybe show the audience?
We've got, it's a bit busy. We just had our press conference, so there's still a lot of people around here, but we've got an RS7 SQ5. Oh, actually on the right we've got the RS5 Cabriolet here, which is also a U.S. debut. So this is the 4.2 V8 in the RS5 in the convertible version.
One thing I like here is you've got this bright work that picks up not only around the passenger area, but carries on through the windshield header as well.
That is one of the things that we have a soft top on our A5 Cabriolet, S5, and RS5 now. And one of the beauties of doing the soft top is that you can do more with the styling. You know, the package is a lot better. And convertible tops these days are so good and insulated and noise insulated that you can put them on high performance cars and still have a great package. You still get a lot of room in the trunk. The trunk is very big for a convertible, and you still get the pass through and the seats fold down. So a lot of performance and a beautiful car. You can drive with the top down, but you also can use it every day.
Cool. Okay.
Let's go check out the RS7 here. And the stand's a bit busy, of course, but here we are.
Well, that's just part of the price you got to pay at any auto show. You got to sort of shove your way through and see what's there.
Yes, so this is the all-new, it's a world debut of the RS7. We haven't been talking about this at all until this morning. So you've got the A7 that has been basically tuned by our Quattro performance division over in Neckarsulm, Germany. And this car, as I said, has 560 horsepower with our new generation V8, the 4.0T, 516 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in 3.7. And the car's flying. And this one, the way we have it spec'd out here on the stand, we have a carbon fiber exterior where you've got carbon fiber rear view mirrors, the lower air dam is in carbon fiber, and a bit in the intakes down there. Also, the rear diffuser is carbon fiber. So if you actually walk around, toward the side of the car, Audi ceramic brakes on the car, and at the rear you can really see the power in this car. These RS specific oval tailpipes and the carbon fiber rear diffuser. So this car is really meant to be the highest performance in our segment for A6, A7, A8. This is going to be the quickest. So the new R8 is going to be the fastest car in Audi, and this would be right there as the second fastest.
Cool. And right behind us here?
And then on the other side we've got the S version of the Q5. So this is the V6 supercharged engine with 354 horsepower. 0 to 60, I think, in just over 5 seconds. Performance, suspension. On the interior it has a sporty interior with sport seats, and it's kind of an S4 that's a little bit higher with a little more practicality. A lot of fun. A great daily driver, I'll tell you that.
It's got to be. Boy, I love these performance figures that you're quoting here. It's just awesome.
Yep. So you'll see different shows. We have different themes. Here we happen to have some good performance models coming. LA, we talked a lot about diesel. And as the year goes on, we'll bring other exciting efficiency technologies also to market. But Detroit seemed like the right time and right place to show the next evolution of Audi performance. I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah, I can't wait to get in that RS7. That thing looks awesome. But Anthony, thanks so much for your time today, man. What a pleasure. Okay,
great.
See you around. You too. Okay, folks, come on, walk with me. We're going to go over to BMW right now and talk to Paul Ferrello, and we'll see if we can find him because there's an awful lot of people here. They say there's something like 6,000 media at this show, and sure looks like there's 6,000 people in here right now. And here's our next one. Paul!
Good seeing you again. How are you?
I'm doing terrific. Great seeing you.
You look great.
I'm doing really good. I'm rested up from the holidays and hit the ground running.
Well, good. Well, welcome to BMW.
Well, I missed your press conference, so fill me and all the viewers in on what's the latest that you've announced here.
Well, without the doubt, the biggest news is our new 4 Series Coupe concept car. Up until now, we've called all of our 3 Series Coupes 3 Series, but now with our new car, we're stepping it up. It's going to be called a 4 Series. It's larger. It's no higher than the old 3 Series coupe, but it's wider and longer. So it has more presence. The designers have really worked hard to give this car its own character. So we're really excited about this concept car, and it gives you a really good idea of what the production car is going to be like when it comes out later on.
Ouch, ouch. It looks really cool. I love what you've done with the headlamps and just the whole front end graphic of the car. A lot of sharp edges to it. Is that something that we should look for in production?
Well, what you're seeing is the car has a lot of character, and this is a strong design statement. We gave the designers sort of that flexibility to really flex their design muscles, and you really see. You see it in the lights, you see it in the body, and you can see it in the interior.
And explain that for us at least, what's some of the thinking between in calling this a 4 Series rather than just the 3 Series coupe? I got to believe it's from a marketing standpoint that you're doing this, but why?
Well, first, the car, there's a lot more differentiation now between a 3 Series sedan and our 4 Series coupe than we've had in the past. So that's number one. The car is physically grown, so it's a bigger car, has more presence, and it reflects, we were very successful with the 6 Series and the 8 Series, and what we're doing is we're sort of bringing the 4 Series coupe into the family of coupe nomenclature.
So it all makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, so we're really excited, but the key story, it's a stunningly beautiful car. People fall in love with this design.
So the reaction here at the show has been really good.
It's been really, really great. Yeah.
What else is new at BMW here at the show, or even coming up soon?
We're launching the new 3 Series wagon. So that goes on sale in the U.S. later this year, and we have one here. The Z4, it's had a little bit of a mid-cycle facelift. The design was really well received when we launched it, so we didn't change much.
Is that here on the floor?
It was here. Yep, it's right near that end of it. Let's head over there. And it's right next to another car I want to show you.
Okay, good. Yeah, because you want to show me and I want to show the audience.
All right. Well, the first thing you're going to see is the BMW M6 Grand Coupe. Now, we launched the Grand Coupe last year in a 6-cylinder and a V8 version. And now what we did, we've taken the same great engine, the same great technology, performance that we had on our M6 Coupe and convertible, and we've applied it to the M6 Grand Coupe. So this stunning car goes on sale late this year. It's got probably one of the most beautiful exteriors and interiors in the car business, and now we've given it all the muscle and fun that comes with an M car. Really exciting.
And what I love, too, is you've got the satin paint job, which I think shows off all the lines in the car.
It does. We've had a lot of luck. We've done several different versions of these. We call them, they're satin paints. We call them frozen in our nomenclature. And they're proving to be real crowd pleasers, and they hold up better than anyone ever imagined.
Okay, and here we've got the Z4. So point out, what are some of the changes that you've done in the refresh?
The changes on the exterior are subtle. We've made some slight changes to the lights and on the side. But the real thing that we've done is that we've added a lot of content to this car. The design, everyone loved the design. The owners loved it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it,
Don't fix it. But what we wanted to do is give the car more content. So we really stepped up the content. Another thing we have now with this new frozen color, the new orange, is that we have a black painted top. So it's something we haven't seen before, but when that top is close, it looks really great.
I wish I could see the top up with you having made that point. Yeah,
I'll have to get it.
That's okay. What else? Anything else new here that we should be aware of?
Well, we have one of our active. We have 3 active hybrids right now. An active hybrid 3, 5, and 7. The powertrain is identical. It's our 6-cylinder engine, made it with the hybrid technology, and we have those on display. We have our 2 iCars, our i3 and i8. Now these are concept cars, but they're really, really close to what a production car would look like. And when you look at these, they look too radical to be close to production, but the fact is they are very, very representative of what we're going to be seeing later on.
I know, they're really cool, and you guys had them at LA, and we showed our viewers in depth, both inside and outside, of what both cars are like.
Yeah, and the key, these are born electric. We're really excited. It's a great design, and it's a new sub-brand for us, so we're excited about that. But the real story is the technology. There's this iDrive platform that houses the motors and the batteries. It's all down really low, and to compensate for that weight of the batteries, the bodies are made out of carbon fiber. So what we want to do, of course, these are going to be very efficient cars. They're electric, but we want them to be the most dynamic of the efficient cars, because that's who we are.
Hence efficient dynamics.
Efficient dynamics.
See, I catch on quick.
Got it. So yeah, we're excited, and you know what? Everyone loves, and they're amazed to hear that that's what the production cars are really going to look like.
This is so good, Paul. Thanks so much for taking us quickly through the BMW display, but always good to see you too. Hey, folks, we're going to take a quick break, but before you go, don't forget that we're going to be taking questions at the end of the show. You in the chat room can submit them to me, and we're going to be coming back soon with two of the most interesting people in this industry.
No one just hands you the title, most advanced technology in its class. It needs to be earned. Earned with smart beam headlamps. Earned with vented temperature control seats. Earned with an 8.4-inch touchscreen. And if you're driving one, you know what it means to earn something.
We are IAC Group, a global Tier 1 supplier of vehicle interior solutions that span the rapid, ever-changing needs of today's industry. From interior design and engineering to manufacturing and delivery, IAC, our heritage, your advantage.
Tenacity, plated in chrome. Determination, covered in mud. Fight, firing on 6 cylinders. The new Ram 1500 with best-in-class fuel economy. Guts, glory, Ram. Motor Trend's 2013 Truck of the Year.
And right now we're in the Infiniti display where you're looking at the new Q90, and we've also got Johan de Nijssen, the head of the Infiniti brand globally. Johan, always great to talking to you, no matter where in the world it is at an auto show.
And it's great to meet you all over the world, John.
So tell us about this car, the Q50 that you've got on display at the Detroit show. What's it all about for Infiniti?
Well, an important car for us, of course. It is the successor to the highly successful Infiniti G. It is the first car to bear our new nomenclature. So the Infiniti Q50 is a bit of a foretaste of fascinating things to come. The car really is the most important model from a volume perspective for Infiniti. So a crucial car for us to get right, and I think the guys have nailed it.
They have, I think. I love the front-end styling on this car. What does that tell us about where the face of Infiniti is going?
Well, certainly the whole car expresses our future design language that we've taken from some of the concepts that we have seen on Essence, for example, and the muscular element of the car. You can see the latent sportiness and aggression. Very emotional design, and one thing that you will never find at Infiniti is something bland.
And this one's a hybrid. Tell us a little bit about how you approach doing that.
Yes, so the hybrid actually at launch timing will be our most powerful version, approximately 354 horsepower. But again, a good illustration of how Infiniti does things. Very high performance car, satisfying, exhilarating driving experience, but also class-leading fuel consumption and CO2 emissions. So we think that this will find wide favor with those who have environmental concerns, who want good fuel economy, and those who want high performance.
And can you give us any indication of what fuel economy or even the price of the car might be?
Those we will reveal a little bit later.
I figured as much, but I thought I would ask. Johan, explain a little bit the thinking behind naming everything at Infiniti Q. Well, why did you pick that letter and why across the board with it?
Well, first let me explain why we did it. If we were to follow our previous nomenclature strategy where it was a letter of the alphabet followed by something denoting engine capacity, as we are planning now to very significantly expand the Infiniti product portfolio, we will run out of names. And so we had to revisit our strategy to start with. Secondly, as we take Infiniti now to important new global markets, it is really essential for us to indicate the hierarchy of cars. I think in the premium sector, people want to know which is the senior model, which the status is an important part of that. And then to get to the point of why Q. Q is our heritage. The original Infiniti back in 1989 when we introduced the brand was the Q45. And so it's very much part of who we are. And so we're going back to our roots. All the cars will be known as Q. The crossover is QX, and the size of the number indicates the seniority of the car.
So you're trying to keep it very simple and
very
easy
simple.
to understand.
If you can count, you can figure this out.
And I can count. When will this Q50 be on sale?
We will introduce the car to the North American market late summer.
And anything else coming this year for Infiniti?
No, this is our big news.
And it is big news.
We really obviously have to make sure that we introduce the car successfully. And so all hands on deck and focusing on it.
You mentioned that this is really the replacement for the G, so can we assume that price-wise it would be around there? Or
I think the car obviously offers a lot more substance. The car is larger, there's a lot more technology to it, and the level of quality and performance also a couple of notches up. So pricing in that vicinity, perhaps slightly higher.
Very good. Infiniti had a pretty good year. What's your outlook for 2013 for the brand?
Our big focus now, John, really is to build brand. I've got my eye on 2025, not on the 31st of December of 2013. So volume is always an important element to gauge the business directionally, but our top priority now is brand, and the products to support it. And so that's of secondary importance to me.
Well, I like that long-term view. 2025 is farther out than most people are talking, unless it happens to be government regulations.
Right. I think, though, the reality is that we are very ambitious of where we want to take the brand, and it takes time to build great brands. You don't do that overnight.
No, you don't. But Johan, I want to take a time to thank you for making some time to talk with us again. Really appreciate having a chance to get the inside scoop of what's going on at Infiniti.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Take care now, Johan.
All the best.
We'll see you around.
Thanks.
Okay, folks, come on, walk with me. We're going to go to our next interview now. Don't forget, too, that we'll be taking questions at the end of the show. Right now I got Matt DeLorenzo with me, formerly editor-in-chief of Road and Track magazine, now writing for Autoblog, right?
Autoblog and Automundo. It's a Spanish language magazine. So
I didn't know you
spoke
Spanish.
No, I don't, but it's working out great. So.
Matt, you wrote an interesting article recently where you said you think retro styling is dead.
Yeah, I kind of, and the show is kind of showing it, that maybe we've reached the end of the string on it. I mean, there's still some retro cars around, like the VW Beetle has gone into its second generation. But, you know, you look at the new Corvette and cars like that, they're really pushing design forward. And I kind of think that the whole idea of doing a car that's sort of a knockoff of an earlier version of the car is pretty much played out.
But in using the Vet as an example, to me the grille is kind of reminiscent of the 53. So even though the car is definitely not retro, there's some design cues that are a throwback.
Right. I think a lot of the designers will hang on to the cues that will identify the car, but in terms of the overall shape and proportion, you're looking at very modern looks. Now, the car to really look at will be what the next generation Mustang will look like, because they really went back in 2005 to what the original was kind of like in '64,
right?
That first generation, and now they want to push it again forward. So I think you'll see kind of a Corvette type treatment to the Mustang, to where it's going to be very contemporary looking, but it'll still have sort of the long hood, short rear deck, and little cues like the pony and the things that, you know, identify it as a Mustang.
I was interested at the Jeep reveal today with the refresh of the Grand Cherokee. They were bragging about how they made the grille smaller. Is this the change? You know, we've seen grills just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger over the years. I wonder if now that's going to flip and we'll see them get smaller like they've done with the Jeep.
I think you're right. And not only are the grills getting smaller, but the headlights too.
Yeah.
If you'll notice.
Well,
you know,
that's because of the LEDs.
They're wrapping LEDs around them, and they're getting to smaller lights. So everything kind of goes in cycles like that, to where you get these big expressive grills. I think there's going to be a counter reaction to that, where you're going to see cars get a little bit more tidier and not so, you know, these giant lights and big eyes, you know.
What else, anything else styling-wise you've seen trends at the show so far?
Well, I think one of the biggest trends is what's going on in sort of the four-door sedan market and the re-emergence of coupes. You know, everybody looks at the sports cars and they look at the economy cars, but you're seeing a lot of style coming in to cars like the Altima, certainly the Ford Fusion, the Cadillac ATS. These cars are really beginning to, you know, they look sporty, but they still have the functionality of a sedan. And then also you're starting to see some more coupes come back into the market. So we might be in one of these cycles to where coupes might be the next big thing.
Well, we'll definitely keep an eye on that for the show. But thanks for your input on what we've seen so far at Detroit.
Thanks, John. Have a great show.
Take care, man. Catch up to you later. And right now we've got Mr. Peter Schreyer to interview. Peter, what a pleasure meeting you and seeing you again. The last time I saw you was at the Paris Auto Show 2 years ago, and you were walking me around the concept car that you had then. Yeah. And what are you showing at the Detroit show?
Well, we'll have a new car in showing the first time here on the American market. It's a sedan in the D-Class.
D-Class, big car.
A big car, yeah, quite a big car. It looks very good.
If you say so yourself. Peter, you were recently named a president of the Hyundai Kia Group. Explain that a little bit, because I don't know many of the details behind that.
Yeah, this is position of a president is pretty high, and I will be responsible for the design of Hyundai and Kia in the future. So that's quite an exciting challenge.
Development and challenge, right?
And I think it's a great signal from our company to give this kind of position to a designer.
It's extraordinary. I don't know if this has ever been done before.
Show how important they see the role of design.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've played such a role in dramatically changing the look at Kia, and it's worked wonderfully well for them. Where do you go from here? Is it a continual evolution of it, or you have another trick up your sleeve?
I don't know yet. We have to. I think we have established a nice direction and a nice form language for Kia, and I think it should continue building up, getting better and better. Of course, always make steps, but not go suddenly in a completely different direction again. And I think Hyundai has a very well-defined direction as well. And my job will be to really create a differentiation and make both brands, let both brands prosper and go ahead with design.
Mm-hmm. What's the trick of getting that differentiation? Because as you know, when vehicles share platforms and the hard points, that dictates so much of the silhouette of the vehicle. How do you get around that?
I think the important thing is that each of the companies has their own philosophy and go their own way in a way, and build up a strong brand identity and a philosophy, and then you're able to find differentiations.
And how would you define the difference in the brands now between Kia and Hyundai?
Well, Hyundai is the mother company, so it's the more settled, stands for quality. It's from the Korean point of view, it's the more traditional company in a way, and Kia is the kind of a bit younger, maybe also probably being interesting for a younger audience.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed now that you've taken the grille look of the Kia, and I'm starting to see it in all kinds of marketing messages. And in fact, I got a little computer thumb drive, a flash drive, in the shape of that grille recently. And I remember the last time I talked to you in Paris, I said, why don't you take that Kia oval and make it the shape of the grille? And you said, don't think it hasn't been thought about. Now you're the president of Design for Hyundai Kia. Might we see a change in the logo?
No, I think the Kia logo is. You're talking about the Kia logo.
Kia logo, yes.
Is very strong, and Kia is a very strong name. And I think if you would change it now and make some kind of symbol, whatever it would be, a crown or a dragon or a tiger or whatnot, people would not recognize Kia anymore. And it's easier to copy also. And I think Kia is a very strong sounding name, very, 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 you can pronounce it easily in every language.
Well, I wasn't so much thinking of changing the name, but the oval that the Kia name is in. Yeah. What if the oval was the shape of the grille?
Well, then I think it doesn't work, because otherwise then you had Audi would need to make 4 rings as a grille, and BMW their propeller badge, and Mercedes the star. It doesn't work.
And let's go back to you're getting promoted as a president. as a designer. As I said earlier, I don't think that's ever happened in the industry before. What have the people at Hyundai Kia told you what they would like to see you achieve in this position?
Well, I think it's bringing both brands forward in design and create a differentiation.
Very good. And I've got to believe one thing that you've got your eye on is the Equus car as well. Can you tell us what plans you might have for that?
Well, it's too early to say because I've only been promoted and we've only been talking about since a few days. And I need to look at the models. I need to look what's in the oven and see
and see if it's ready yet.
So you need to give me some time.
Okay. We'll keep a lookout for that. I'm very interested to see what you do there.
Okay.
Peter, thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Okay, I'll do just that. And now we're going to be right back soon talking to the man behind Chrysler Marketing.
Start with the simple idea. Think, drink coffee, design something totally original. Do it again. That's good. Call in the engineers, call in the car guys, call in the nerds. Build a prototype, mold it, shape it, love it. Give it a starting price under 16 grand. Uh-oh, the finance guys. You can't do that. Kick out the finance guys. Take it to the track. Tweak, 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 stop. Take it to the car shows, call the critics, win some awards. Making a groundbreaking car. It's that easy.
So this performance football is another way Bridgestone is bringing its tire technologies to the world of sports.
That's right. The same polymer technologies that allow you to take sharp turns with maximum precision on our Potenza tires is being put to use here. Troy Aikman and Deion Sanders are helping us test it out. Troy seems to like the control.
That ain't right, man.
Deion,
that ain't right.
not so much.
Giddy up now, Deion.
At Bridgestone, our passion for performance knows no bounds.
Well, we're back in the Chrysler display right now, and joining me is Olivier Francois, the head of the Chief Marketing Officer, Chief Creative Officer for the entire group, and the CEO of the Fiat brand worldwide. This has got to be an exciting show for you.
Nice meeting you. Yes, it is very exciting. Yeah, so we have a lot here. So from the brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee to the Dodge Viper, SRT Viper, lots of new Fiats. Here, by the way, we're standing in front of a 300.
But a 300 Motown edition. Now, I've never heard of that before. You'll have to explain that one to me.
With pleasure, also because it's my brainchild. Not just mine. You know, Barry Gordy, it's his brainchild as well. So we were looking for ways to, to materialize this, imported from Detroit, to materialize this Chrysler belonging to Detroit's heritage. And what better than Motown? So Motown speaks about Detroit first, then it speaks about engine, and it speaks about music. And as I always say, engines and cars are the heart of Detroit, and music is its soul. So here you have the best of both worlds put together. A car.
Now, here in the Detroit market, I would imagine a car called the Motown 300 would do fantastic. What about in the rest of the country?
So that's the whole idea, is to export a little bit of Detroit soul outside of the Midwest. And actually, so I met with Mr. Barry Gordy, who is a legend. And for me, I'm an old music. I was in the music business, and I would never have believed that I could meet with Mr. Barry Gordy, which I did. And I learned from him that his next project is to launch a big play in Broadway, so New York, about Motown. It's going to be called Motown. So I thought we were the perfect partner for this kind of a project. So we created a car. We created a car which is fully loaded with the 100 best songs of the Motown records. We created a campaign, and Barry Gordy himself is delivering. Actually, he changed the line. It's not this is Detroit and this is what we do, but this is Motown and this is what we do. So that's a car imported from Motown. Then,
and will you be doing television advertising, or is this going to be a much smaller campaign?
Absolutely. No, it's a big campaign. It's just starting now. You can already find it on, it's already broadcast. You can find it on YouTube. And it's a great ad, by the way. Mr. Gordy gave us the best of Motown. He gave us the music, Marvin Gaye. He gave us Ain't Mountain High Enough, all the picture, all the imagery of Motown, plus his likeness. So it's already on. Then we also have the 300 John Varvatos. John Varvatos is a designer. It's a Detroit designer who brought the best of Detroit's grit to New York. So it's all about bringing a piece of Detroit outside Detroit. So imported from Detroit. Not very faithful to this.
And it worked very well on the 200. Last year sales were up over 40%, which is a staggering figure. Can you do the same with the 300?
I have no doubt. Now, if I move to another brand, I'd love to tell you about how well Fiat is doing. Because
please, you had a great year in the U.S. market last year with just the 500.
Yeah, amazing year, actually. And you opened the door speaking about growth, and that's what I connected to your growth number. Fiat is the fastest growing brand in the U.S. market, plus 121% growth. It's huge. It's the fastest growing brand ever. And with only one car, actually, is it one? Is it 10? There's so many variations around the 500. You have the Gucci, you have the Abarth, you have the Cabrio, you have now the electric 500, which we are about to launch, especially in California. And so it used to be one car with a lot of variations. Now, from this summer, it's going to be two cars, two nameplates, because we introduced today the 500L. L stands clearly for large. So it's a bigger 500. Our dealer network was asking for a bigger 500, 5 doors, and more room, more possibilities to enjoy the exceptional design of a 500. So we gave them this new car.
And I imagine there's a lot more models to come besides the 500L. And you must be encouraged about Fiat's chances in the U.S. market with the success that you've had in the last year with just the 500.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It has been very inspiring to see how, there is nothing more inspiring than positioning a new brand on a new market. Because that's exactly where you have no limit, no boundaries, no taboos. You just do exactly what you have in mind. So this is very inspiring for what we are going to do on other markets. As an example, China. In China, we just introduced Fiat in China. After a few weeks, we already have huge numbers. It's clearly not a very, very big market. And it's not about a 500. It's another car made in China for the Chinese market. But, okay, lots of possibilities for Fiat as well.
Well, this is really exciting to hear, Olivier, and I wish you the best of luck in seeing this all grow, because it's been extraordinary to see Chrysler's overall turnaround.
Yes, a huge satisfaction for all of us. We've been working hard. And things are coming, so now we need to keep the whole thing up to speed and keep working hard. But, quality is back, design is back, technology is back, and we offer more green cars. And so I think we have an excellent product, so why not failing? Why failing?
Very good. Olivier Francois, thanks so much for your time today. Awesome to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to be talking soon with Phil Popoff, who's the Director of Sales for Jaguar globally. But first, a quick break.
Join us again tomorrow for our second day from the 2013 North American International Auto Show in Detroit, Michigan, when John McElroy talks with, among others, Bob Carter from Toyota, Cadillac's new global brand chief Bob Ferguson, and Chris Chapman, chief designer for Hyundai's California Design Center, as he unveils the company's new HCD 14 concept. That's tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern here at Autoline.tv. And don't forget to tune in later this week for an Autoline exclusive when John McElroy interviews Tier 1 executives at the inaugural Autoline Supplier Symposium. Join John from the floor of the Detroit Auto Show with some of today's top suppliers, including Bridgestone's Michael Martini, James Kamsiskas from International Automotive Components, and Jim Boss from Johnson Controls. See the entire list of guests at our website, Autoline.tv. And, of course, tune in on Thursday, January 17th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern for the show.
Popoff, the Director of Sales and After-Sales Operations for all of Jaguar globally. I think I got that sort of correct, did I?
Yeah, it's Phil, by the way.
Jeez, that's right. I'm sorry. I've been interviewing so many people at this point. But you, or Jaguar Land Rover, had a fantastic year last year. You did what, some 370,000 plus vehicles? Do I have tell us the numbers?
Yeah, 357,000. I'd liked it to have been 370, but nevertheless it was a record. Grew in every region around the world, and is just a great success story. Some real momentum that we've taken into 2013.
If I get that right, over 300,000 of those vehicles were Land Rover, and over 100,000 of those alone were the new Evoque.
That's correct. We broke the all-time record for Land Rover by some margin. 226,000 was our previous record year. The new Range Rover Evoque, first full year, 108,000. The first time that Land Rover has sold over 100,000 cars on a single vehicle line in our 65-year history. So very pleased about that. But the other products grew as well. Even the Range Rover, the big Range Rover, in its run-out year was only down 7%, and a huge order bank that we're building for the new one that we've got on display today.
And I was interested to learn that the U.S. market by far is the most important for JLR. I would have thought it would be China or something like that at this point.
Well, some good competition between the home market, the UK, as you'd expect, and China, which is the fastest growing market for us in the US. But we've been established here for a long time. It's a massive market for Jaguar and Land Rover. We're introducing some exciting new products now. The F-Type, the re-entry into the sports car market, it will be our biggest market in the US. That's on the stand. And just as importantly, the introduction of smaller engines to XF and XJ and all-wheel drive. They're just hitting the showrooms now. So 2013 is going to be pretty exciting for us as well.
It sounds from the numbers that Jaguar's got some catching up to do with where Land Rover is right now. What can you do from a sales standpoint to get it maybe not quite where Land Rover is right now? I would not expect that overnight, but how do you move the needle on that?
Well, up until December, we were a V8 company only. We've now introduced a new V6 petrol engine on XF and XJ, and a 2-litre four-cylinder petrol engine, gasoline engine as you say here, onto the XF. All-wheel drive on both cars as well, so our accessible segments is going up significantly, which will help us. And obviously from a brand point of view, the re-entry into the sports car market, 2-seater lightweight F-Type that comes late spring, early summer, that's going to give us huge momentum in the US.
And I would imagine that alone is going to bring people into the showroom. Even if they don't end up buying the new F-Type, they might look at some of the other things that are parked around it.
Absolutely, and we've got some exciting product coming through. We as a business, as Jaguar Land Rover, investing in excess of $3 billion every year for the next 5 years on new product development. So expect to see an expansion of our product range, replacement of our products. There's going to be some really exciting products from both brands over the next few years.
It's very impressive to hear those numbers of what the investment will be, because that was my question all along. Could Tata really come up with the cash? Because as you know, this business just burns through so much. You've got to be constantly investing in new product. It's good to hear that they've got that kind of commitment.
Absolutely. They are very ambitious for us. They're pushing us, but actually we got a level of autonomy. We're making the decisions for our future back in the UK. And it's not just product that we're investing in, infrastructure around the world as well. 177 markets we're now active in. Over the next 5 years, we're going to be significant in those 177 markets.
And additional dealerships and additional training, too, is part of that investment, no?
Absolutely. We've got just over 2,500 dealers. In the next 4 years, we'll have over 3,000. Our dealer partners around the world invested about $1.5 billion over the last 3 years. We expect them to invest about another $1.5 billion over the next 3 years. That's confidence from our partners in our future.
I'll bet it is. And thanks so much for taking the time today. Phil, I remember that, but really appreciate your time today. Okay, that's great. And we have... okay, let's take the Q&A. We've got some questions that have come in so far. Let's see, Seth7721 wants to be knowing, will we be showing the redesigned F-150 launch tomorrow? That's if Ford does it. And maybe, Seth, you know something that I don't, because I've been walking all around the show here doing interviews. I haven't necessarily learned exactly what's going on. If the F-150 is going to be shown, we'll show it to you. If. Raj wants to know, why isn't anyone comparing the Corvette with the Viper? They're talking about Porsche, BMW, etc. I don't get it. Well, it depends who you're talking to, Raj, because there are a lot of people here on the floor of the show talking Corvette versus Viper and not necessarily comparing the Corvette to BMWs and Porsches. I think that's kind of a natural comparison. I mean, it is the premier sports car from General Motors, Chevrolet in particular. So, of course, it's going to get compared to other sports cars. But make no mistake about it. People on the floor here are talking Corvette and Viper. Jonathan Brown. All right. Jonathan Brown says, do the vents out back for the new Corvette minimize the dust buildup on the taillights? LOL, he says, every Corvette owner knows what I'm talking about. And I'll bet you do. And that those vents by the taillights are actually for aerodynamic reasons. But good question as to whether that keeps dust off them as well. Let's see, Right Knight wants to know, will there be a 4 Series Grand Coupe? Good question. We should have had that when we were with Paul Ferrello over at BMW. I couldn't tell you. Michael W. wants to know, are Lexus grille designs and Infiniti's grille designs the same, or is it just me? Michael, I know what you're saying. There is kind of a spindle look to the Infiniti one as well, but put the pictures side by side or put the cars side by side. You'll see they're actually quite different, but I understand where you're coming from. In a basic shape sort of a way, there is a similarity between them, even though you'll never mistake the two cars. Let's see. Scott in Cleveland says, has the ELR been revealed yet? I don't think so. I haven't seen it yet. It hasn't been, but it will be. And let's see, George from Sunnyvale says, if Chevrolet is currently able to build aluminum frames for the C7 at Bowling Green, why is it going to take until summer to start production? George, I got to believe it's tooling change. You know, if you're going to start bringing all that work in-house, and I got to tell you, that new chassis is completely different. I mean, the overall dimensions are probably not that different, but it's a very different design than what they've had. Very interesting combination of extrusions, stampings, and castings, all aluminum. And an amazing, at least 3 or 4 different ways of how they're joining that. So anyway, you make that much of an equipment change, that's a big tear up of the line, and I am guessing that's why production is going to start later. Anyway, I think we're ready with our next 2 interviews right here. Let's bring them in. Jim Sievert, the chair of the auto show, and Rod Alberts.
Good seeing you, John. Thank you.
To both of you.
Thank
you. From my vantage point, this looks like a pretty good show. How's it from yours? And I know you're only going to say positive things, but can you give us any data behind your enthusiasm?
Well, first of all, I think that walking around the show, just looking at the displays is incredible. I mean, looking at Toyota, 35,000 square feet. Of course, being from Ford, I look at their booth, and then you go back in the back. We did the press conference today for the new MKC. Not only an incredible car, but another great booth. So my enthusiasm is fueled by the displays, by the product, obviously, we have, and by the number of people down here, the press.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The displays look awesome. It's not a rehash of what we've seen over the years. It looks like people are really spending money again. Is that how you see it, Rod?
Yeah, you know what I love is, over about 20 years, starting back in 1990, I'm an old guy, I've been around a long time, and we incrementally grew over that period. And then when everything, the bottom fell out 4 years ago, and we were, on the mat, to have a comeback, you don't want to be on the mat ever, but when you can make a comeback and hit it like we are with the energy here and the press from all over the world and every car company coming in with their best product and spending money here, it's good for Detroit and it's good for the economy. It's good for everything. So I'm having a blast. Are you kidding? It's the best.
And Jim, this is only day one. I mean, this thing's only getting going.
We got 10 more days to go, but I think this is the most exciting day because it is the first day and because of all the attention that the manufacturers are giving to the show.
And I got to imagine that next year it'll be even better because there's a lot of construction going on here at Cobo Center. And, Rod, I got to believe next year we're going to see an even better venue for this show.
I got to be careful here because I've got Jim Sievert, our current chairman, and he'll be an emeritus next year. But you're right. Over the last 3 years, we've been going through a renovation. And when everything is complete with the new ballroom, the atrium completely polished up and done, and this whole building closer tie-in to Joe Louis Arena, what you're going to find is everybody's going to have more opportunity to do more here than ever before. So it's going to be over the top next year, and the stars align, you might say, truly align next year.
Am I missing anything? Any other news that we got to get out here right now? Because I've run out of questions.
Charity preview, but first of all, this is the 25th show, like the 25th Super Bowl. But the year he's talking about next year.
Well, let's let the viewers know the 25th as an international show, because the Detroit show actually goes back 100 years or something.
6 years. So 25th is a international, and then next year will be our 25th anniversary. So we got 2 years to celebrate 25. The charities preview is Friday night. Tickets are available still. It's $300. It's a wonderful event. All the money goes to children's charities. There's 9 of them, and that should be a spectacular Oscar-style night.
I'll be there. I always do, and I'll be there again. So it's going to be good.
Good. The only thing I can say the rest of the week, it's a week-long Mardi Gras here, and we're right now in the middle of press days. We had our gallery event a few days ago with all the ultra-luxury cars and Black Card American Express people coming in from all over the country. Think about it, Industry Preview Day is coming up in a few days, and we're 30% above last year, and it was a good year last year. Now you got Charity Preview, $4 million raised. We've done a lot of entertainment coming that night, so overall, and public days, we don't have time to think of that yet, so it's all good. It's going to be great.
Well, it's cool to hear, and again, we keep talking about it. 5 years ago, boy, it was just doom and gloom, and now it looks like everything's back.
Exactly. We agree.
Very good. Well, Jim, thanks so much for your time. Rod, great seeing you again, and we'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you guys all over the floor here, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Okay, people. Oh, we got some more questions before we run here. Let's see. AM2 says, anything on the Lincoln MKC Concept CUV? Wasn't that one of the vehicles unveiled earlier? No, actually, Lincoln took the embargo off yesterday, Sunday, but it was really shown to the press today. The one thing that I can tell you, because they haven't given us a whole lot of information, it's based on the Ford Escape, though it doesn't look like the Escape. Interestingly, Ford's decided to go into the compact CUV segment because it says there's no dominant player there right now, and it thinks it can elbow its way into it. Okay, Charlie Horse's Scout says, is Jeep going to finally offer the pickup for late 2013 or 14? Great question. Really a good question. I don't have the answer to that, but it's got to be coming soon. So anyway, Charlie, great question there. And with that, we're going to wrap up today's webcast, coming to you from the floor of the Detroit Auto Show. We've got a terrific lineup of people again here tomorrow. And boy, I'll tell you, as much as we're doing, we're covering a lot. We're not getting it all. I can give you an idea of some of the people that we'll be talking with. Bob Carter from Toyota, Rainier Michael from Volkswagen, does all their product planning. Bob Ferguson, the new guy running Cadillac. Michael Martini from Bridgestone. Mike Acaviti, the new head of sales and marketing for Honda. Fred DePerez from Nissan. Chris Chapman, head of design at Hyundai. And Bo Anderson from the Russian company Gaz. So please join us again tomorrow. We'll be webcasting right here from the floor of the show at the Chrysler display, our signature sponsor. And I really want to thank all of you for having joined us today.
Autoline Live from the North American International Auto Show is brought to you by our signature sponsors. Chrysler, the Chrysler 300S, imported from Detroit. Dodge. Fiat, the next wave of Italians has arrived. Jeep. For more information on the full lineup, visit Jeep.com. Ram, visit RamTrucks.com. And also by Audi, Truth in Engineering. Bridgestone, your journey, our passion. IAC, Inside Solutions from IAC. ITC Holdings Corporation. Visit us at www.itctransco.com. ITC is your energy superhighway.